Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
Welcome to the Profitable Mindset, a show dedicated to teaching you the skills you need to build a profitable product-based business that makes you feel free and fully in control. Here is your host, Charlotte Smith.
Hey there, welcome to this special episode of the Profitable Mindset Podcast, where I'm going to let you listen in while I coach one of my clients, Becky. She came to me because she was feeling guilty trying to plan time for herself to exercise. She's a busy mom, 3 kids, homeschooling her kids right now, like most of us. And she has a business at home, which is almost full time. So when she scheduled time to exercise, she kept missing those appointments with herself, knowing it's important, but feeling guilty. And so listen in as I coach her through this, and you will watch her go from feeling guilty to feeling committed in the course of our time together. All of this because my new course, Master Your Time, Master Your Life, is open for registration for just a few more hours. It closes tonight, Friday night, October 2nd, registration. The info you need there is at 3cowmarketing.com/time. Go there and sign up. People have been signing up all week, and the reviews, or not the reviews, the testimonials and messages have been coming in all week, because as soon as you purchase this course, you have access to everything. So I've had a few high achievers binge watch all the trainings and send me some messages of how it's helping them. So the first one is actually the client you're going to hear me coach, Becky. She said, I've always thought of myself as an organized person, but as my business has grown and we started homeschooling, I found myself feeling overwhelmed on a daily basis. I knew something needed to change, but I had no idea where to start. Master Your Time, Master Your Life is a life-changing program. Everything Charlotte teaches is actionable, and I'm amazed at the difference this system has made in my life in just 2 weeks. I feel more organized and on track. I love knowing that I'm moving forward with goals, keeping up with my workload, and feeling like I can actually stop working for the day and relax because everything is getting done. It's not just a matter of managing your time. The system Charlotte teaches has done so much to relieve my stress so that I'm feeling better and enjoying my days. I'm so grateful to have found this course, Charlotte's practical strategies that I can start to practice the very day we talk about them. These strategies are helping our family and farm life be more organized and much less stressful, and have helped me become a more productive and positive person. So thank you for that, Becky. It's going to help people make the decision to start transforming their time and their life too. And then Darcy just sent over a message by email. She said, thank you so much for doing this course. I feel so motivated and already feel like I have a huge weight off my shoulders just getting started. Okay, you guys, go read all about it, 3cowmarketing.com/time. And next, you're going to hear me coach Becky, because this is a coaching program too. You will get 12 coaching calls with me, group coaching calls. You can get coached by me if you choose, or you can watch others get coached. This next little segment here will give you an idea of what's possible when doing that. All right. See you in this next coaching call. All right. Well, welcome, Becky.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hi. So you're wanting some coaching for your time management. What are you struggling with? What do you want coaching on?
Yeah. So overall, I've been implementing a lot of what I'm learning from you, and it's really made a difference in how my days are going. But where I find I'm still struggling is taking time for myself. So whether that is exercising, which is something I want to do to lose some weight and improve my health, or taking time just for what I call mindset work, like journaling, just getting my thoughts out so I don't feel like I'm holding everything in my head. It seems like even if I put those activities on my calendar, when it comes time to do it, I feel like, oh, I should be doing other things, and I feel guilty taking that time. And so it doesn't happen. It's very easy to come up with other things that I should be doing instead. But then at the end of the day, I'm feeling disappointed that I didn't take that time and I didn't honor that commitment to myself. And so then I make a commitment like, okay, tomorrow I'll do it. But it's like the same cycle.
Okay. So many people are going to relate to this.
Okay.
You're not alone.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're going to dive into what's going on in your brain that's making this happen.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to point out is that there are 4 kind of pillars of self-care.
Okay.
And 2 of the pillars are exercise or movement and mindset work.
Okay.
So I just want, and that's what a lot of women in our culture here struggle with, is because we're socialized to take care of everyone else first. So yeah, I think it's just really interesting that the 2 things you're struggling with are 2 just basic self-care items that we all struggle with as women. So I just want to start with that. But what I'd like to help you with, I think that will help you see what's going on, is when did you plan? Let's get specific about when did you plan this and you didn't follow through on your commitment. When was the last time this happened? Or a time that we can talk about. When does it stand out that it was on your calendar and then you didn't do it?
Even just last week.
Okay.
I started off the week well. I did follow through 2 days last week, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it didn't happen.
Okay. So Wednesday, do you remember what happened? Like, what time was it scheduled for? Which one was it? What was it that you scheduled and then didn't do?
Yeah. So I had planned to exercise in the morning last week, Wednesday. So my kids are home now. It used to be that they would go off to school and then I would work out and get myself ready for the day, but that hasn't happened for a while. So we're homeschooling. And the treadmill is what I use to work out, and that's in our room. And so our oldest daughter is 13 and she was still sleeping at the time I was going to walk. And I was like, I don't want to wake her up by doing this. And so I think that's kind of what threw me, because then I told myself, well, I can do this later, but then it didn't happen.
Okay. So was that a problem if you woke her up? Was that a legitimate excuse? Probably.
Well, she would have been okay. I wasn't planning to start super early in the morning. I had it scheduled for 9. So.
Okay. All right. So your thought was, and I'm going to just write this down so we can see what's going on. The C stands for circumstance. And that's just the facts of our life. It's the things on our calendar in this case. So you were going to exercise at 9 a.m. and your thought, and you thought, oh, I'm not going to do it. I might wake up my daughter.
Yeah.
And how did you feel when you did that? And you thought, I'll do it later.
If I kind of just tune in now, it's kind of like disappointing, a sense of, I know I'm letting myself down.
Okay. So you even knew it in the moment. You even sensed that in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to write down, I don't want to wake my daughter. I'll do it later. Okay. And the feeling in the moment is disappointment?
Yeah. Just kind of disappointed because I'm breaking my word to myself again.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the action you took, because feelings drive emotions. So when you felt disappointed, you told yourself, I'll try to do it later. Or what did you tell yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to do it later.
Okay. What else did you do in the moment?
Well, I think I don't know if it's an excuse, but I told myself, well, I can use this time to work instead. And so I did
Okay.
Move right into work.
You worked instead, and you actually sacrificed working out because you didn't want to wake your daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't work out. You did some office work instead. What was going on in your head? Was there some self-talk going on in there, conversations, or were you telling yourself anything?
I don't know about this particular day. I know that there's always this battle, like there's that sense of guilt, like I should be working out. I should be doing this. There's also a sense, like, I know from my experience, if I save exercise until afternoon or evening, it does not happen.
Okay. Should be working out. But you also, a part of you is saying, I know I'm not going to do it later.
Yeah.
Because there's a million other things to do later.
Yeah.
And did you have, because you're doing the calendaring process, did you have the rest of your day filled in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that in my head, it was like, well, if I work now, then I could use work time later on to exercise. Like I could switch, except the work seems to just stretch.
Yes.
Fill that space.
Yeah.
And so the exercise doesn't happen.
Yeah. So 4:00 in the afternoon, the thought of going and getting on the treadmill is not attractive.
No.
When you can finish up the last email or whatever you're doing on there. Okay. So just notice the result here. I think the result in this is you didn't exercise, but it kind of comes from a place of, because your daughter's 13.
Yeah.
And it was 9 a.m. So it was kind of you coming up with an excuse in your brain to put it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the result is, I don't want to exercise. I mean, it's kind of like what happened is I justified why I didn't have to exercise.
Yeah.
You know, there's a part of you that feels like, oh, I'm not going to exercise because I might wake her up. So
I think hearing you talk, like this could be an easy excuse where it looks like, oh, I'm looking out for her, I'm being considerate, but really it's just an easy way to get out of exercising.
Yeah. And it's so, exercise is one of those things. Of course, we have to make physical effort. You got to get your shoes on and your clothes changed. You're going to get sweaty and it's going to take effort. And so your brain's normal state is it's wired to preserve your energy. So just knowing that your brain is always, whenever you're faced with exerting energy or not exerting energy, it's wired to guide you toward, oh, let's just do it later. But later never comes for most of these things.
Yeah.
So that's one thing for you to know is your brain is always wired to tell you to take the easy way out.
Okay.
And the reason it's good for you to notice that's going on here is you can start to catch yourself in the moment of like, wait a minute. Am I really, is this, it's not like I'm waking a sleeping baby. Is it really a problem if I wake my daughter, or is this you can start to catch on to your brain looking for ways to get you out of doing work, right? Because that means work, exercise means work. Just like sometimes it's something like build my website. And that's what's on the calendar. And you're going to come up with some reason to avoid doing that. It's something I hear. It's a real common complaint from people is I'm just not building my website because that means work to the brain. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So then let's talk about the guilt, the feeling of guilt, because this comes up so often with people, especially women, because we're socialized that taking care of ourselves should only come after we've taken care of everyone else. But here's what I want to tell you about guilt. Guilt is an emotion that tells us we've done something wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And so in this case, what do you what are your thoughts about that? Like What do you think about this, having this emotion that tells you you did something wrong?
Well, so I struggle with guilt kind of either way, and maybe other people do too. So if I do exercise, I feel guilty, like, oh, I should be doing things for other people, and it's selfish to take time for myself.
Yeah.
I'm so used to so much of my day being focused on things that benefit other people that this feels like taking time for myself is selfish.
Yeah.
But then if I don't do it, I also feel guilty because I know that I'm letting myself down and I'm not moving closer to my goals.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not so much that I'm doing something wrong, but it's my judgments of it either way.
Yeah. Yeah. So just notice that often in our society, we use the feeling of guilt. But when I asked you to explain it, you realized yourself, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. But yet we use the term guilt. But and guilt, if you did, like, say you drove your car and you accidentally scratched another car and you drove off and you felt guilty. Well, you should feel guilt because you did something wrong. And then that feeling makes you drive back and you leave your name and number and you fix the scratch. You get together later and fix the scratch. In that instance, guilt was useful. It served you, right? Mm-hmm. But for you, scheduling exercise and then feeling guilty like you're being self-indulgent, that's misuse of the word guilt. So it's not guilt. You didn't do anything wrong, except it's so common in our society to say, oh, I'm so guilty. I'm feeling so guilty for taking time for myself. So it's not even a true feeling of guilt.
Okay.
But we're using that word.
Yeah.
So just start to be aware of that, of question yourself. Like, okay, my brain is trying to tell me I'm feeling guilty right now, but is it true? Am I really doing something wrong here by taking time away from, anything else to do this? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, just starting to question your brain on, am I really doing something wrong here? Or is my brain trying to offer me an emotion here that's not useful?
Yeah, that's a really good point because I've always just thought it was guilt. But as you describe it, it's like I'm not doing anything wrong. So no, it's not really guilt. Maybe I'm just feeling uncomfortable. Maybe either way, it's just feeling uncomfortable because it's something I'm not used to doing. Either way, either like taking the time to take care of myself, or I think most of the time, like, I'm pretty goal oriented and do a lot. So if I'm not moving forward and making progress with stuff, I struggle with that too. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's not guilt at all.
Yeah. And then the other big thing here is our society conditioning. So you have had decades of conditioning of take care of everyone else first before you take care of yourself. All of us in this society. And so we have deep neural pathways in our brain that just instantly go to, oh, I can't go get a pedicure. I can't go to lunch with my friend, and take time for myself, because then what would my kids do? What about my husband? We're so conditioned that our brain has an automatic habit of, you try to schedule something for yourself and all this conditioning is going to come up and try to stop you. So the work here, like your work, how to schedule time to work out. You know how to do that. You know how to work out. You know what it takes. But the real work here is you just deciding that you're going to be super aware of that social conditioning, that is that constant looping message in your brain is what's stopping you up here. Yeah. Because chances are your husband supports you working out. The kids would say, oh, yeah, mom's so much happier when she works out. At least my family says that about me. And so you have the support to work out, but the thing holding you back, which I find with so many people, including myself, is social conditioning is very strong. It's what, and even if you, you look out in society and social media and all that, you will still get lots of messages to take care of this is what a woman's life should look like. You look on Instagram and you see all these other women doing all these other things for other people. And you think, oh, why, that's why I can't, who am I to take time to work out however many days a week I want? So that's the work here, is to catch yourself when those thoughts that, oh, I shouldn't be working out. I should be doing something more productive or more useful, or for my kids or for my husband, or clean the house or anything. So what are your thoughts about that you've just had all this conditioning that is prevailing in your brain?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think that it was in some of the videos in the course where, like, when you sit down to make your plan or something, your brain comes up with all sorts of things that you should be doing instead. And that it's okay to hear that. And then also be like, okay, I'm not listening to that right now. I'm going to sit down and focus on this. And so I think maybe it's the same thing where I've just been kind of caving into whatever my brain comes up with as a reason to not take that time. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense, because that's, as you said, like, that's what it's been conditioned to do, that like everyone else should come first. But maybe just this is forming like a new habit. Like, I can listen to that, but I just, like, I've been doing the calendaring system, it's a new habit. I'm learning how to do it. But I know that that's made a big difference for me. So maybe if I just view this as, this is just something I'm doing.
Yes.
And it's not really up for negotiation.
Yeah. And that right there is you using the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of your brain, and being intentional. Remember, in the course, I talk about planning your schedule from that part of your brain.
Yeah.
And if you plan to work out from that part of your brain, what I also talk about is when it's time to do the things such as work out, the survival part of your brain is going to rise up and say, but no, you've got to do laundry and dishes and write those emails. Then you can work out later, put it off till later. So in the moment, just be really intentional and expect that survival part of your brain is going to jump up and say, no, do all these other things. And it's almost like you have a conversation with it. Like, of course you're here telling me that I might wake her up and, I'm kind of tired today and maybe I should just work out later. That's your job. You're the survival part of my brain. Your job is to keep me alive. But I decided at the beginning of my week that I was going to exercise right now. And treadmills aren't that loud. So it's almost like you're reassuring that part of your brain that it's going to be okay. I'm going to work out because I decided ahead of time. I appreciate you trying to tell me, that I should preserve my energy, and now let's do it. So, So what are your thoughts on kind of being more intentional in the moment, knowing that part of your brain is going to scream out to not do it?
Yeah, this really helped a lot because this has been something I've been struggling with for months, at least, since the kids have been home.
Right. Yeah.
And this is something I have been telling myself on a regular basis too. But that idea of, it's my brain trying to protect myself coming up, but it doesn't mean that I have to listen to it. And it doesn't mean that it's right or true. And that I can choose things just like I choose in other areas of my life,
Yeah.
I just need to start making that intentional choice to stick with my plan.
Yeah, great. Because just like I said in that first part of the calendaring session is you can make your plan for the week and it looks amazing and you're all set. And then when it comes time to do the thing on your plan, it's a separate part of your brain. It's the the amygdala, the survival part of your brain, that's what's going to come up in the moment. So what sounded so good on Sunday when you were planning to exercise sounded amazing. In the moment, that part of your brain needs for you to step in and manage it and say, nope, we're going to exercise anyway. Okay, so let me help you come up with a new thought model. New thought and emotion. So it's the same circumstance. You want to exercise, and the action you want to follow through.
Yes.
On your commitment. On commitment to exercise. So if in the moment you already know, because I just told you that when it's time to exercise, there's going to be a little part of you that says, oh no, do it later. Don't do it now. You should be doing these other things. And you're going to say, nope, we decided it's okay. I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm going to hold my calendar. I'm going to do it anyway. So you have that conversation. Then at that point, you have a choice to think and feel whatever you want that will make you follow through. So usually just even a very simple thought, like how would you have to feel to do the action anyway, to do your exercise anyway? And what would you be saying in your head that would make you feel that way?
I think for me, what I've learned, like with other habits to change, making an emphasis on today, like today I'm going to follow through and do my plan, that makes it easier for me because it doesn't feel like I'm committing to do this forever. It's just like one day at a time. And I can keep saying it one day at a time. But for me, just saying today I'm going to follow through with my plan.
I love that.
That works for me.
Today I'm going to follow through on my plan. And that's a really good point you just made, because the brain hates big things. Like if it thinks of exercising 5 days a week for the next 90 days, that's overwhelming. And what you did with this sentence right here is you brought it down. It's so much easier to create a new habit when you chunk it down into just today. So now notice when you think this, today I'm going to follow through on my plan. How does that make you feel?
I mean, the different ideas that come to mind are just like, I guess, a sense of pride, like I'm following through with my commitment.
Maybe even committed.
Well, committed to it, but also the sense of peace. Like there's no longer this battle inside me. Right. It's just like, this is what I'm doing. Decision has been made. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not resisting.
Yeah. So decisive.
Yeah.
Peace. Committed
to it.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you want to put? Which feeling? Let's choose one of those. Today I'm going to follow through on my plan.
I like committed. I think that sounds good.
Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so notice, now remember, you're still going to have the conversation. That part of your brain is going to say, oh no, you don't have to exercise. It's too cold. It's too hot. And you're going to say, oh no, today I'm going to follow through on my plan. And you feel committed and you follow through. You exercise. What's going on in your head? That's another action. So because you're exercising, what are the conversations in your head? What are you telling yourself?
Probably just like, I can do this, or this wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
I can do this. It's not hard. What are you thinking about yourself?
Probably feeling pretty good about myself. Like I made a plan and I followed through with it.
Yeah. Like, look at me. I'm proud. You used the word proud up here. Like,
yeah.
Look at me. I'm proud. I'm proud I did this.
Yep.
I'm so proud I followed through. I'm so proud I did this. You know, the other thing that's so important on all of this time management stuff that you're doing right here is you're modeling to your kids that, no, I said I was going to exercise at 9, and so I'm exercising at 9. And then you teach your kids these things too, just by them noticing that, oh, mom always does what she says she's going to do.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's a good result here too. Like we could write that. Mom always says what she says she's going to do. But look at whenever you have a thought, the thought is the first step in creating that in your reality, and that's exactly what you created is you followed through. You exercised. You followed through and exercised. Now, notice what didn't come up in here. This could be an action. Is there's no guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, you didn't even mention guilt in here. Like you didn't even have to chase guilt away or anything, did you?
No, that's interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also there's no worry when you schedule your calendar the way I teach in the course. Laundry is not happening at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, and dinner plans is not happening, and emails aren't happening. Everything has its own bucket of time in the day to get done. So there is nothing else for you to do at 9 a.m. except exercise.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your thoughts on this?
This feels really good. It's really interesting because coming in, I really wasn't sure. I mean, it's so interesting that you can just buy into, well, this is just how it is, and then just seeing how just changing my choice, changing my thought about it can lead to different outcomes. And this seems more doable, and especially with that thought that like today I'm going to follow through. This feels more doable, and and I, instead of feeling bad about it, I'm feeling excited about tomorrow and following through.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that happens is you mentioned too, when you don't follow through, then it comes up at other times in the day of I didn't exercise. When you do this, you get a dopamine hit. My exercise is done. I followed through. You get multiple reasons to kind of celebrate what you did, which gives you more motivation to complete your other tasks, exercise or otherwise, on your calendar too.
Yeah, that's
so good. You created a little success here, a small win. And every time you create this small win like this, it's motivating you to keep up that habit.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So then it can kind of build.
Totally. And then you kind of become almost addicted to completing these things. Like, oh no, I'm going to exercise because I feel so good knowing I followed through on my commitment. So you create new habits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all sounds good. Thank you so much.
Sure, of course. Thanks for letting everybody watch you too.
Okay, thank you.
That was so good. I really want to thank Becky for allowing me to put her coaching call on the podcast so all of you can get an idea of what it's like to be coached by me. So again, last chance by tonight to get Master Your Time, Master Your Life. This coaching program includes 9 training videos on the innovative technology I use to really learn to master my time. I used to think I was an organized person until I learned the skills that I teach you in this course. You will have huge burdens lifted off of you when you learn how to manage time and think about time the way I teach in there. And it includes the 12 coaching calls. So for 6 weeks, 2 times a week, you're going to come to a coaching call and bring the struggles you're having with your calendar or the time or the feelings you're having when you're trying to plan your time and maybe you feel guilty or like you don't have enough time, or whatever your struggle is, bring it to a coaching call. I will help you through it. Okay, read all about it and get signed up at 3cowmarketing.com/time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. For more great resources, check out theprofitablемindset.com. See you next time.